Hey folks, welcome back or welcome to Lone Pine Tarot for the first time if you're new here, and thank you so much for joining me for our pick a card reading today. Quite straightforward, is a spirit guide message, but specifically we are asking what is coming next for you. What do your spirit guides want to give you a heads up about, as well as their advice for your path ahead. Without further ado, let us choose our pile leaders to pick our messages with, calling on spirit guides for our community. Please come forward and help choose the pile leaders today. Thank you. Okay, feeling drawn to this part of the deck, so we'll draw from here. There is pile 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. Okay, time to unveil. So for pile number 1 today, your pile leader is... Ooh, we have one of the animal cards, the fox. Very beautiful. For pile number 2 today, here in the middle, your pile leader is one of the trees. We have the hazel tree. And of course, last but not least, for our wonderful pile 3 on the right, your pile leader today is, another animal, but this time we have the hawk. Okay, so pile 1, you're the fox. Pile 2, you are the hazel tree. And pile number 3, you are the hawk. But of course, as I always say, you're 100% welcome to pause on this part of the reading if you need more time to decide what pile you would like read for you. If you're new to pick a card readings, or you just want to take a blissful little moment of peace out of your busy day, please follow my voice right now. So close your eyes and take in a deep cleansing breath. Imagine light filling your lungs as you do so, then hold it for just a few moments. And then when you breathe back out again, look at these 3 different cards and see which one your eye is drawn towards most first. Or down in your gut, you might kind of feel a knowing or an intuition, as we like to say, that this is the pile for me. But whatever your method, you can drop down to the description box below when you are ready, or the top pin comment beneath the video. Find the timestamp there for your pile. And I'll see you in our chat about the message from your spirit guides about your path ahead, what's coming next. See you in the reading. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 1. Welcome to your pick a card reading today. Message from your spirit guides about your path ahead and advice on navigating it. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to the beautiful card of the fox for your pile leader. So of course, as you know, we have a fox staring at the viewer on a field of, very fittingly for the season, at least for those of us in the northern hemisphere, golden leaves as if it is autumn. Right? And foxes, pile number 1, as we all know, are often culturally considered to be creatures of cleverness, which is the main keyword I want to bring to your attention for your path ahead. I think the main reason why this was your card / why you were drawn to this intuitively is because cleverness is going to be very key to navigating what's happening next in your life. And specifically, the fox, despite it not being the most intimidating of predators, right? It's not as big as like a bear or say like a wolf or, I'm trying to think like a mountain lion for an example. Doesn't mean that it can't get things done. It just has to go about its ways and everything that it's trying to achieve in more, I don't want to say underhanded, that's kind of a negative connotation, but more witty, kind of smart ways. Okay, so if there's anything you take away from this reading, it would be whatever you do in the near future, remember the keyword of cleverness. You're going to find successes through cunning rather than brute strength, or through, and you might interpret that, literal strength or, verbal strength, things like that. You're also going to maybe come across some changing circumstances, though, because that's often where our cleverness shines, is when we're put up against things in life with changing circumstances. So the other cards, of course, will give us more insight into what those circumstances are, as well as kind of a clear understanding of the trajectory ahead. But that is what I'm seeing, at least at first, intuitively with your fox card, since you were drawn to that one. So let's put your fox over here on the left. We'll let him dance in the leaves off to the side. And we're going to begin today with your tarot spread as well as a Lenormand spread. I haven't used Lenormand in a little bit. I thought I would, why not break it out today, right? So Spirit guides of pile number 1. Can you give us a glimpse into the path ahead for them? What's coming next you want them to know about? Thank you. Okay, we have something to do with a house. So the house in Lenormand can literally mean something to do with your home. It also represents like security, things along that nature. Okay. And then let's draw the other 2, pile 1. And then we have the scythe. Okay, the house, the scythe. Also fitting for this time of year, right? The time of harvest. And then the third card here is the mice. Okay. We'll talk about that interpretation in just a moment, but I will tell you ahead of time, there's something to do with you maybe cleaning out some sort of loss or decay that you've recently had regarding your security or with your home. Okay, that's a glimpse, okay? Let's grab your tarot spread next. Spirit guides for pile 1, same thing. Tell me more about their path ahead. Thank you. What do you want them to know? A lot of very warm cards today, especially with, well, the fox, of course, had warm colors, but we're using the Ethereal Visions Tarot today, which has gilding on it. Perfect for a cozy time of year, right? Okay, so there's your tarot spread. We'll unveil those. All right, first up to bat, pile number 1, we have the 6 of Cups, nostalgia, the past. We'll explain more soon, of course. Second up to bat, we have the 10 of Cups. Okay, lots of cups so far, lots of water energy. So your path ahead here, the next phase of your life, pile 1, is going to maybe orient around a lot like relationships and family, I would say. That tends to be like a major theme definitely popping out here. Not just because of the home, but because of all the cups that you're getting. And specifically, both the 6 of Cups and the 10 of Cups can be related to family or like partnerships, right? Or siblings too, especially the 6 of Cups. Then we have Strength. What a beautiful card to get for your heart of the matter. Awesome. I do see lots of good things coming. Nothing bad so far. Let's keep going. And then we have the, okay, another Cups. Fantastic. 7 of Cups reversed, which is sometimes maybe a bit of advice, but it can also mean positive things. And last but not least, we have the Ace of Pentacles reversed. Okay, so that maybe is one of the minor challenges you're going to have in the near future. And I think, of course, by the nature of you having clicked on this reading and hearing what your spirit guides want to say, we can maybe avoid or at least give you advice on like how to overcome that challenge. So pile number 1. Yeah, right off the bat, let's talk about the Lenormand reading. Okay, so the Lenormand today, if I had to interpret it in like one sentence, it's kind of more blunt than tarot, right? I would interpret it as matters related to the home swiftly cutting out problems with loss or decay. Okay, because the mice often represent, especially with this depiction, you know, they're eating at the grain stores, they're kind of, you know, chipping away at your resources. Okay, that's traditionally that was a problem with mice. That's why we didn't want them in our barn or our grain stores. Okay, we didn't want them to chip away at what we had to survive the winter. Okay, but the beautiful thing is that scythe, you're cutting it out. And also the scythe can mean something happening kind of swiftly. Okay, because of the action of the scythe in Lenormand, right? It moves swiftly as you're cutting grain or wheat in that particular depiction. So I want to say this: if you've recently been having any issues regarding like losses with the home, like maybe you've had like a lot of things breaking down where you live, or maybe you even like recently lost your home, or like you had to move really quickly for some reason, like, you know, landlord said, you know, get out, I want to sell the place, or it's something along those lines. Or maybe another interpretation it could be is potentially like things that you had to sink money into, or you've been losing more resources in general, more comforts. That's coming to an end here soon. So that's one blessing that's coming forward really prominently. And as I said, with all the cards coming out, pile number 1, most of these things in your near future are positive, other than that Ace of Pentacles reversed. Okay, so as I said, there's a lot of focus on family and relationships. You have the Six of Cups to begin. I don't know if recently you've had a lot of either like reminders of childhood or like connections or like gatherings or events regarding especially siblings. The Six of Cups especially tends to refer to siblings or like blood childhood family, right? Or, I know sometimes people aren't in connection with their blood family for, positive, or health toxicity related reasons, right? That would be like what you consider your family right now, like your found family, right? And especially too with the Ten of Cups, that's like happily ever after. It tends to represent like success with, a partner or like in a coupling, right? So I want to say, not only are you going to see some positive progress here with family and siblings, and especially in the home, which is related to family, as we discussed with your Lenormand, you're also going to see a lot of happiness and success with your romantic partnerships, or even if it's not like romantic, like if you're not currently in a relationship, you might make progress towards a loving relationship if you're single, and that's kind of something you see in your near future here. Like maybe you've been seeing someone recently and you're like, oh, I don't know how this will turn out. That's a pretty good sign, pile number one, okay, that it'll turn out quite well. I do want to say like these are like the immediate near future things because of the first two cards that popped out. So I would guess maybe, within a month or so, within the next few weeks. And the beautiful thing as well here, pile one, is that you got the Strength card. Fantastic card, already on top of other really fantastic cards. Strength is all about, well, what it says on the tin. It's about being strong. It's about our courage. It's about our willpower. And what's interesting is that, similar to the metaphor of the fox, because I remember that I said at the beginning, the fox isn't a brute strength kind of character, or animal, I should say. The fox is the type of creature that gets by with its cleverness and its wit, and kind of its cunning, I guess, is the other keyword I want to use. And that's very similar to the woman in the Strength card, because often, you would think the lion would overpower the woman. Like, oh, she's just, a dainty maid, the lion's going to overpower her. But she always has control over the lion in any depiction of the Strength card, at least with the lion included. That's the traditional version. You always have the maiden with her hand in the mane of the lion or like in the jaws of the lion, okay? That is that same kind of strength that we saw with the fox, okay? So I have a feeling, especially if recently you've been having some issues with maybe like willpower battles or struggles, like maybe that's related to the home thing. Maybe you've been in kind of a battle with your landlord if you're renting, or, with your community or city if you own the property, or you've got a mortgage, that type of thing. And two, like maybe if there's been struggles recently in family or like with a sibling and whatnot, you're going to find these successes in these areas because of that strength, that cunning, that subtle feminine power type strength is how I would almost describe it, or, like the wit of the fox. That's how you're going to get through. So that's really the number one piece of advice from spirit guides today for, the near future for you, is rely on that soft power. That's what's going to be your ticket to things going really well in the near future, okay? Then we have the Seven of Cups reversed, and at the very end we have the Ace of Pentacles reversed. So pile one. These might be just tiny little pieces of advice or tiny little speed bump challenges here. I don't see anything obviously like massively bad coming your way. I don't have like a Tower card, like the Tower card to be like, okay, there's some big pivotal thing you want to be aware of. This is more maybe just kind of a nudge from your spirit guide saying, on top of, make sure that you are leaning into soft power here in the near future, so that you do find these successes in the home and with your relationships and family. The Seven of Cups reversed can represent a time where we have been deliberating too long on our different dreams. It's kind of the idea of, pile one, have you ever had a situation where either you or someone else has had this thing that they wanted to do for a very long time, and you or them keep daydreaming about it, you keep talking about it, or they do, and yet there's never any action taken? It just kind of sits there in that little nebulous of what if in your mind or their mind, okay? That's the piece of advice spirit guides have for you. It would be a really good time, I think, because of these successes kind of underlining or under supporting all of this, to put dreams into actions, okay? So like if you've had a creative project that you've wanted to start, but you've just been kind of waffling on it, like, I don't know, start it here in the near future, okay? Same thing like a business idea or a new thing you want to suggest at work. Anything that's been kind of in the realm of the mind or the heart that hasn't taken action in the material that you really, really feel passionate about, and you're like, man, I'd love to do this thing. I'd love to kind of just maybe even bring it up. Do it. Okay, just do it. And then part of that reason why they're suggesting that leans into the Ace of Pentacles reversed here as well for you, pile 1. The Ace of Pentacles reversed can represent a time where we want the opportunity for something, especially in the realms of career or finance, okay, that is denied to us for a certain reason. And I think because of its proximity to your Seven of Cups reversed, pile 1, the reason why is because that's the key word, if you do not take action on your ideas and dreams here in the near future, you might miss opportunities in career and finances, okay? Really good opportunities. So to turn that Ace of Pentacles right side up again, like the universe with a hand saying, here you go, here's your opportunity in career and finance, you need to put plans into actions and dreams into reality, okay? But other than that, pile 1, I mean, looks like a stand-up time to me. You're clearing out old things that aren't serving you anymore. That's another representation or interpretation, I should say, with the scythe. Okay, it's like clearing out the old, separating the wheat from the chaff in terms of like, the things you need and things you don't need anymore. You're reducing loss. Okay, that's another thing that can come up with the scythe next to the mice, right? And especially like, success in the home too. Maybe you're even kind of doing like a spring cleaning thing soon. And I know, at least here in the Northern Hemisphere, it's not spring right now. So maybe if you live in the Northern Hemisphere like I do, maybe it's like an autumn cleaning rather than a spring cleaning. But you know what I mean, pile number 1, things like that. And yeah, just keep leaning into your power, keep leaning into your cleverness. And keep an eye out for opportunities when they come along, especially when they're related to your dreams. And I think you'll have a pretty good time in the near future. So let's draw the last 2 cards for you today. We have both the Lantern Oracle and the Power of Surrender deck. So kind of maybe final advice cards or other things to look out for, maybe positive things coming, spirit guides, anything else you want to say to pile 1 about the near future for them? Thank you. So very, very positive. Also, yes, because you have such an abundance of cups in your reading, pile 1, as I said before, but I'll just restate it again because I don't know if I lingered on it enough. Very, very positive time for relationships and matters of the heart and your connections to other people. Okay. I don't see too much about your ambitions, other than those related to the things of the heart and like relationships because, you don't have any wands. There's a little bit there with finances and career because of the Ace of Pentacles, but I think if you follow the advice so far, anything in those areas will kind of come about naturally, okay? And then too, you didn't even get any swords, and sometimes swords can represent challenges, so that's pretty good. No challenges really coming forward, and nothing really like complex. It just kind of seems more easy sailing. So your Lantern Oracle card is, oh, beautiful. So speaking of circumstances maybe changing a little bit, we talked about that with the fox. Remember when I said in the very beginning, oftentimes our cleverness, like the fox, shines most when we come across changing circumstances, when we have to navigate things. You have the card of transitions, pile 1. So it's a time of, very fittingly here, at least, like I said, Northern Hemisphere, sorry for my Southern Hemisphere friends, of change because it's autumn, right? Transitions. You have all the inner resources you need to cross whatever bridges arise on your path. Okay. There are changes coming. I'm seeing positive ones, though, based on your spread. And this is your spirit guides reminding you, pile 1, as it says, you have all the inner resources you need to cross whatever bridges arise. Okay, so if you do come across maybe even the tiniest of challenges here, because like I said, I don't see major ones, pile 1, just know you're going to weather through them just fine. Okay? You're going to be fine. I know I say a lot in my readings. In fact, oftentimes I find a lot of the tarot readings, at least from, the spirit guides connected to our community, a lot of it is kind of like calming. Like, oh, it's going to be okay. Like, here's how you just weather through. It'll be fine. You especially, like as I said, I see a lot of successes, pile number 1. There's good things coming. So when you do come across times of transition, maybe it is literally with a home, as I said. Like you had to move places because of a landlord or something. Or, maybe there's been kind of changes at your job. That basically is telling you that you're going to weather through those changes. Okay. And then let's cap off your reading with the Power of Surrender deck. What should they surrender, pile number 1, spirit guides? What would you suggest that they surrender? I always love using this deck at the very end. It's kind of a good farewell deck, you know? Beginning or end of readings, I should say. Right there. What should they surrender? Surrender to miracles. Okay, so that's just another emphasis here, pile 1, that things are going to go fine here in the near future for you. It says, be open to miracles occurring in your life. Feel and know that these events are real. Let go of any resistance and banish any doubt that miracles can happen. Okay, so please, pile 1, anything you walk away from this reading with, please be open to positive things happening. That's part of the message, too, with the Ace of Pentacles reversed, of being open to, you know, the possibility of an opportunity coming your way through taking action on your dreams with the Seven of Cups message we had earlier, right? Okay. Keep your eyes open. Because as much as when these changes first come up, you might have an initial hesitance because you're like, oh, man. I mean, that's the thing with change, pile number 1. Oftentimes, when change comes up, we get that instinctive gut reaction of, oh God, how am I going to adapt to this, right? But this change period in your life is an opportunity for a lot of positive things to come in. It's like that scythe message again of sweeping out the old and making room for the new. And as this card says here, surrender to miracles, be open to these miracles, be open to positive things coming about with these changes. So when the changes come along, don't instantly go, oh, ugh. That's scary, right? Which is understandable. Everyone does that, right? Most of the time. But at the same time, pile number 1, it's like I see so many positive things coming. That's like you have nothing to be afraid of, okay? And you have the power to weather it through. You have the cleverness to weather it through. And I think both your relationships and your home situation and everything regarding like your family or your found family is going to benefit from these changes. Okay, so beautiful reading today, pile number 1. It's one of those readings I absolutely love to give because I literally have little to nothing to say that's like, oh, hey, look at this thing you might not want to know. You know, like I want to be an honest tarot reader. So sometimes like more negative messages come through because I read honestly, but at the same time, when I have a spread like this for you, pile number 1, and I can just say, look, smooth sailing, great things are coming. I mean, you even got the card of surrender to miracles, fantastic. Those are one of my favorite readings to give. So thank you for sharing your energy with me today and letting me read for you. If you liked the video and if it resonated, please like the video, comment down below. Please subscribe as well if you haven't done so yet. And as we always say in our tradition, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 1. Hello there, pile number 2. Welcome to your pick a card reading today. That is a message from your spirit guides about your path ahead and their advice to you on navigating said path. And as you recall, you were drawn to the gorgeous card of the Hazel tree with the kind of stark difference of the red background with the almost lime-colored leaves in the foreground. And of course, well, being a hazel tree, it has hazelnuts, right? And the hazel tree in this particular deck, pile 2, represents the keyword of creativity. So what that tells me right off the bat here is that your next phase of life is going to be something that requires a lot of creativity from you. Now, some of you might work already in a creative field and you're like, well, yeah, that makes total sense. You know, creativity kind of is my thing, my life. Some of you maybe work in a career that maybe doesn't necessarily require the stereotypical definition of creativity, but that doesn't mean that you can't incorporate more of that into your life. We use creativity every single day, solving every single kind of problem. We use creativity in every single way, okay? Relationships, career, our personal ambitions, our dreams, and our hopes, right? So what your spirit guides want to tell you right away is to keep creativity in mind as you're going forward in the near future. So whenever you come across a problem, think outside of the box. Whenever you are given an opportunity to do something creative, even if it's as simple as you see the weekly, I think it's every weekend on YouTube, they have weekend Bob Ross live streams on YouTube. Even if it's simple as that, watch the Bob Ross live stream for like an hour or something, or whatever your time allows you to do, okay? That's going to help you in many ways. And I'm also hearing kind of an intuitive message here, pile 2, that there's something about allowing this creativity into your life more soon that's going to help you in ways of almost like divine timing, number 1, but also things that'll pop up in terms of synchronicity. Okay, maybe it's even as simple as you watch that Bob Ross live stream and you get an idea in your head that is just ingenious. And you're like, oh, I want to run after that. That's something that I'm passionate about. Okay. Something that simple, or it could be the creativity of baking something new, or whatever creativity means in your life. I won't list off every single example, of course. So let's see. I'm trying to see what else other intuitive messages are coming out before we move on to your main spread of cards. So, and that's another thing that I was thinking about when I meditated on the card before I started recording, is I think too, if you're struggling in the near future or even right now with ideas, or maybe you are a very creative person, like that's your main thing, and you've been struggling with a writer's block or a creative block of some sort recently, your answer from your spirit guides is to look for that inspiration or those ideas in really subtle, small ways, and also to look for them inside of yourself rather than outside of yourself, okay? I do see, of course, like I said, some synchronicities coming in, like I said earlier, that, might kind of kick an idea into your head. That's how the universe often parses things to us, right? But there's a lot of ideas that are going to come from within as well. So it's kind of almost an inner strength sort of message too, like believing in the wellspring of ideas that come from within you rather than always looking for inspiration outside of yourself. So it could also be just a period of time of balancing between where you get your ideas. Do you get them from outside sources as well as how often do you get them from within? Okay. See, anything else? I think that's all I have for the intuitive messages, at least right off the bat. So let's put your hazel tree over here to the left. I just love that color red with the green. It's beautiful. And let's go with your Lenormand and Tarot spread. Haven't used Lenormand in a while, so I thought let's break out Lenormand today. Spirit guides of pile 2. Could you tell me a little bit more about what you want them to know about what's coming next for them? Thank you. Cross your fingers for the positive things, right? Okay. Can't take more than 3 with my particular spread, so we're going to shuffle again. Spirit guides lovingly 3 cards, thank you. They're like, no, we want to tell you a million things, pile 2. Okay, we have the chickens or the birds. We have the woman. Okay, so that came out first. The chickens, birds, then the woman. Okay, something about communication from a woman. And then let's grab the last card. Right there. Okay. Okay, so pile number 2. We'll talk about it more in a second, but a little glimpse of what this means as I draw your tarot spread. There's something about communication from a woman regarding stability. Okay, that's how I would interpret that in like one blunt sentence. Okay, communication from a woman about stability. I don't know if maybe you've been waiting recently for some feminine energy person to kind of get back to you on stability, like, maybe like their own stability. Maybe, they had like a bad housing situation recently and you're like, oh man, I hope I hear good news about that, right? Or it could have been like maybe you are trying to rent from someone who is a landlord who happens to have, like their feminine energy person, right? And then that's like, you might hear good news from them, the communication about, hey, I'm going to let you rent here. Something along those lines. Okay. But stability might not just be about home. It can also be about your finances and your career. So like if you're looking for a job, it might be a good idea to look to communication coming forward from said woman in terms of feedback from an application or an interview, things like that. Could also be that if you are currently partnered with a woman, right, that she might bring forward good, positive communication about stability with, like, the relationship. Something along those lines, pile number 2. You're going to know your situation better than I, but let's look at your tarot spread. We have, okay, the lovers. Okay, so we have good tidings coming forward in terms of your relationships. So for those of you that are currently in a relationship, this means that this next chapter ahead is going to be very positive in terms of said relationship, right? For those of you who are single, it might be a good time for you to maybe go on dates, go looking for somebody, or maybe if you're currently kind of in a what-if stage with someone, maybe you have a crush on them, maybe you think they might have a crush on you, you're going to see some developments in that area. I can promise you that because of the lovers coming out. And then we have the sun reversed. Okay, a little bit of interesting. That looks negative on the surface, but I'm not getting a bad feeling off that. We'll explore that in a moment. Okay. Then we have the Two of Swords reversed. Okay, which makes me think of, there is one way to interpret the Lovers outside of romantic relationships, pile number 2. It's kind of another traditional interpretation, as I explain in my readings. Sometimes Lovers can also mean a choice, and the Two of Swords often deals with choices. So that's another thing I feel like is coming forward for you a lot. Oh, beautiful. You got the Three of Swords reversed. Positive. It's a great thing, pile number 2. You might be coming across a lot of choices here in the near future. Okay. You might have a lot of choices put in front of your face that you have to decide on. And then the Four of Pentacles. Okay. Stability and being able to collect wealth or resources. Okay. So, pile number 2. We already talked about your Lenormand. I'll reiterate that again. In the near future, expect communication from a woman or feminine energy person about stability. Okay. And that is reflected once again in here with the Three of Swords reversed and the Four of Pentacles at the very end of your spread. Three of Swords reversed tends to represent a time that we're overcoming a pain or a challenge of some sort. So it's a positive thing when it's reversed, right? And then the Four of Pentacles tends to mean, you can see right here in the meaning, she's clutching the pentacles close to her. She's literally standing on 2 pentacles, holding up her feet. And she's even got a pentacle on her head, like it's on her mind, okay? So maybe recently stability has been on your mind a lot, especially regarding job or career or finances or like your living situation. I'm going to tell you this, pile number 2. I see that problem that's making you kind of focus on your resources and stability coming to an end here in the near future, okay? Because it's these two together, it's like a combination of the pain in this area is finally ending. You're going to find that stability. You're going to be able to kind of like hold on to your resources more. So I do see positive things coming in terms of career and finances. And that, once again, that Lenormand might be related to that stability conversation, okay? I do see, as I said, positive things coming forward with relationships, with the Lovers, right? Maybe if you're dating, you might find a good partner here soon. Or like I said, if you're like in a what-if stage, that might mean there's more like commitment coming forward too. Or if you're currently in a relationship, positive things with that relationship. It seems to be a very fruitful time for that, which is interesting because pile 1 had that too. I guess, I don't know if there's something in the atmosphere in the universe about happy or positive relationships coming forward, but I do see that at least across the board so far today with the piles. Good tidings in that area, okay? Now we do have a slight little maybe, not a speed bump. I don't want to say that. It's nothing majorly bad, pile number 2. I want to reiterate that, okay? It's not like you have a tower card or anything. It's nothing bad. But you do have maybe a slight little speed bump kind of thing to look out for or advice from your spirit guides with the Sun reversed and the Two of Swords reversed. Now, we did already discuss you're going to have a lot of choices put in front of you in the near future that you might have some struggle deciding the final choice on. Okay, that's what a Two of Swords reversed represents. And the reason why, pile number 2, is because of this Sun reversed right before it, which it's also related to the Lovers. We'll talk about that in a second. But in terms of the choices, the Sun reversed in that position, sometimes it can represent maybe an unhappy thing. Sometimes the Sun reversed can also represent a lack of knowledge or a lack of light or truth upon something. So what that tells me, pile 2, is these choices, the reason why they're so dang hard to come to a conclusion about what direction to go or what choice to make, is because at the time you're going to feel like you lack information, or it's kind of maybe a choice of a rock in a hard place because of the lack. The Sun reversed can represent maybe not the happiest choice. I don't see a major problem, so it's not like it's going to be like, a choice between, like a total crap sandwich and a total, I'm trying to think of another example. It's not like it's going to be like a choice between 2 total crap sandwiches. Okay, it's not that bad. It's just be aware of that, and I think that's where that creativity message comes in, pile number 2, especially as a piece of advice from your spirit guides. Be creative when you come across those decisions, because that might help, number 1, for you to gather more information about how to make these decisions, or what choice to make, and then number 2, it might help you navigate them a bit easier. And that's why your spirit guides kind of want to reach out to you today. They're like, hey, we're going to give you this heads up. We're going to make that a lot easier on you, okay? And now, before, as I said, we'll get back to the Lovers for just a second, because I said the Sun reversed being next to the Lovers can be related to relationships, right? Being close. So, what that means, pile number 2, is some of you, especially those of you who are like single or like you're dating, but you're not quite in the, like boyfriend-girlfriend stage, or girlfriend-girlfriend, boyfriend-boyfriend, whatever, gender or whoever you date, right? The committed stage, I guess, is what I want to say. Part of the reason around that is because there's like a lack of information. It might be that the person that you're seeing is kind of waiting to gather more information. Like if you've been kind of, waiting a little bit and you're kind of like, I don't know, like they just haven't decided quite yet because they need to gather more information. So if you've been having like a partner recently that you're like, well, why aren't they, going forward with something? That's the reason why. Okay. And so providing more information or kind of more assurance in that area might help you bring more happiness or like stability into the relationship. That might also be like a piece of advice in the near future for you, pile 2. I'm trying to think of other ones too. For those of you who are single, like you're not dating anyone yet, or like you're kind of at the stage of, maybe someone has a crush on you or vice versa. I think if someone has a crush on you, they're trying to hide it. That's the sun reversed, because it's like, they're trying to hide the light on something. They don't want light shed on something. So in that case, pile 2, be aware that maybe someone is into you that you're not expecting. Oh boy, do I say this. For those of you that have a crush on somebody else, that might represent that you, lovingly, pile number 2. I think they might know more about your feelings for them than you expect because of that sun reversed. It's like you're trying to hide the light on it, because maybe you've been like, oh man, I don't want them to know that I like them, but a sun reverse next to the lovers is like, maybe they kind of know and they're getting the vibe, okay? But it's a positive thing. It's just not a bad thing, okay? It's just, but then it's like they're not sure kind of what to do with it because of that 2 of Swords reversed energy afterwards. That indecision again, but kind of more tailored to this specific situation, okay? So, there you go. As I said, pile number 2, nothing overly bad. You're overcoming some pains regarding, stability. Lots of stability messages too, especially with the anchor. That's another message that came forward. Just remember creativity to help you navigate these situations and whatnot. And I do see positive things in terms of relationships and like crush related things, okay? And then just be aware of indecision and be creative when you come across a major decision you're having a hard time trying to figure out what to do, okay? And then let's, last but not least, grab your final oracle cards. We'll have the Lantern Oracle first. So, Spirit Guides, what else do you want to say to pile 2 about their near future? What's coming up next? Thanks. Excuse me. Okay, feeling drawn to this part of the deck. Right there. This one says, pick me. We have home. Beautiful. Positive. Number 42. May your body be where a harmonious balance of love, strength, light, and pleasure lives. Okay, so that might be a representation, pile 2, that a lot of these positive changes coming are related to the home. Okay, because, like maybe the stability is related to a housing thing, okay? Or it could be like maybe you've been having financial issues with the home recently, and then that tells me then, pile 2, that those things are going to stabilize, okay? I also just see it's a really good time for you to focus on self-care. That's a common message I always intuitively hear when this card comes up from this particular oracle, because, the lady, she's sitting in a hot spring, and you can see maybe, I don't know, you can probably see it on camera. You can see the expression on her face. She's having a grand old time. She's got that really pleased smile, like the cat that got the yarn ball. She's like, oh man, this is fantastic. Of course, as relaxation always is. So please do not hesitate to orient yourself towards maybe some more self-care here in the near future as well. I think that will help you, especially through the stressful times when the indecision comes in, okay? Same thing too, like if you're struggling with creative ideas and you're trying to brainstorm and you got a little bit of a writer's or artist block, etc., you might find your ideas in self-care. Maybe as simple as go to a spa if you can, if that's available to you. Go to take a hot bath or a hot shower. That's really nice, okay? Self-care, things like that. Take care of yourself. You got to fill your own cup before you can fill other people's cups, pile 2, okay? Let's see if there's any other messages with that. And just in general, I see that as a really positive sign for your near future. Excuse me. Fantastic. I see it as a time of like a lot of comfort too. Greater comfort, a lot of like less stress. Okay, that's another thing popping forward. So I don't know if like recently everything's been really stressful for you, pile number 2, which my condolences if so. That's never fun when you're having a stressful time of life. But this card is like, oh, okay, we're gonna get back to the baseline of like less stress. We're gonna come home, so to speak, quote unquote. Like a nice day at a hot spring. A nice day at the spa. Okay, beautiful. Last but not least, let's do your surrender card here. So spirit guides, please tell me, what would you like them to surrender? Or what should they surrender? Okay, I'm happy to report, pile 2, that once again, kind of like a lot of the love messages or like relationship messages, a lot of the piles today, at least pile 1 and then you so far, kind of seems like a good time coming. I don't know. I feel like this autumn, for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, whatever season it is where you live, it's going to be more happy and prosperous in general. I'm getting that kind of sense. All right, there we go. What should you surrender, pile number 2? Surrender comparisons with other people. Keep your eyes on yourself. Focus your own strengths on your own attractiveness and your own power. Okay, so pile 2. If there's one last piece of advice your spirit guides have for you in the near future, please remember this quote: comparison is the theft of joy. For some reason, they're saying you might be tempted in the near future to compare yourself to other people. Or maybe that's generally where a lot of your anxiety or maybe kind of self-esteem issues come from. You know, potentially maybe you tend to look at like, well, this person has this thing that I wish I had, or they have this relationship that I wanted, or they have this position at work that I wish that I had, or etc. Like, or, you know, same thing too. You might feel like you're behind in life in some way, or you might feel, you know, insert thing here. Wherever you tend to compare yourself to others, your spirit guides are emphasizing when you make these decisions in this near future. And especially too, when it comes to creative things. Maybe that's part of your writer's or like artist block, pile 2. Maybe the problem really isn't the inspiration as much. Maybe it's you compare yourself to other people and you always find yourself coming up short, not because you literally are coming up short, pile 2, or of like lesser quality. It might be just more that you're really hard on yourself, okay? So please be less hard on yourself. And that's also part of the self-care message too, and then the home message with the Lantern Oracle card is be happy with who you are and what you have and what you can do, okay? That's also going to be a really good keystone to your success here in the near future, okay? Be confident in who you are. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Don't worry about how you look compared to what other people look like, no matter if it's, you know, literal appearance or, you know, milestones in life or what they're doing or what projects they do, etc. It's a really good time here for you just to hone in and focus on your own things, okay? But yeah, overall, pile 2, pretty positive things coming your way, okay? Just remember creativity when it comes to decisions, and you'll weather through just fine. Okay, so that was a reading today from your spirit guides about your near future, what's coming next. If you liked the reading, if it resonated, if it helped you, please like the video itself. Please comment down below. And as I always say, please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. I see my statistics. I know about 50% of you that watch do not subscribe. So I'm not shaming anybody. I'm just saying if you could subscribe, that would be awesome. And I would be very grateful for it. Okay. Anyways, in our tradition, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. And I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 2. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 3. Welcome to your pick a card reading about your spirit guide messages on what's coming next in your path ahead, as well as, of course, advice on navigating it. So, as you recall, you were drawn to the beautiful card of the hawk as your pile leader. We have the hawk sitting on the branch with a really big emphasis on its eye as it peers at the viewer. And that is the key to what the hawk represents in this deck. The key word with the hawk is, of course, focus, which makes total sense, pile 3, because as we know, hawks have very good eyesight. And that's exactly how they hunt too, right? They'll sit somewhere, they wait a while, they use that stellar vision to hone in on something, and then they go for it. So what that means for you, pile number 3, is the first part of your message from your spirit guides is when you navigate this next chapter of your life, always keep in mind the keyword of focus. Think about, as you're taking actions every single day, as you're trying to navigate life, as you are trying to figure out, well, what do I do next? Really, excuse the pun, peer into, I I love puns. Peer it into what is really going on around you. Are you seeing all the details of everything? Are you pausing enough, like the hawk on the branch, to really understand the whole bigger picture? Before you take actions, look really closely at not only is this the best decision to make when I take this action, but the after effects of it, just like the hawk does when it's deciding, okay, that's the rodent I want to go after. The mouse is going this way. I'm going to fly in this particular direction, and then I'll swoop in and take it when it's looking a different way. Okay. So in this near future, think, what would a hawk do in this situation? Of course, metaphorically speaking. Okay. A hawk would look around and a hawk would plan everything out to the umpteenth before it makes that quick flight down like a lightning strike from the sky. Okay, let's see. Is there any other intuitive messages with your pile leader? Let me think for a moment. Pile 3. So we talked about different vantage points too. That's kind of another side message, pile 3. Is not just look at things closer, is your piece of advice, but also look at it from different perspectives, okay? Like literally, if you were to even have a reminder in this near future for yourself around of your main advice from your spirit guides, it literally would be to have like a picture of an eye to remind you, look deeper, look at things in different ways. You might find answers to your problems if you look at it from a different perspective, which we'll see what your tarot spread has. But I would not be shocked if you have the Hanged Man, because the Hanged Man in tarot is often about, well, how do I see this from a different perspective? Okay, so if you're familiar with tarot, it's kind of a Hanged Man message too. Okay, pay attention to those finer details. Now let's put your pile leader over here to the left to begin, and we're going to start with a Lenormand spread and a tarot spread. I have not used Lenormand in a hot minute, so I thought, why not use Lenormand today? It is I love tarot, but I also like Lenormand too. So spirit guides, what else do you want pile 3 to know about their near future? Thank you. Okay, nothing jumping out quite yet. I get the feeling, pile 3, off the bat, that it's going to be relatively stable for you. At least that's the first sense I'm getting. I don't think any major things are going to pop up soon in terms of, like pivotal in-your-face changes. We'll see, of course, with your tarot spread, but that's at least the sense I'm getting. So at least expect here in the near future a time of maybe a bit more stability. The first Lenormand card is the Rider or the Bard, okay, or the Messenger really is what I like to call it, the Messenger. And we have, ooh, beautiful, the Flowers, or the Bouquet, sometimes it's known as, and then the third card is the Fortress. Okay, so pile 3. We'll discuss it a little bit more after we're done with the tarot card spread, but your first glimpse of what your Lenormand cards mean is something to do with a message regarding a gift from authority or about protection. Okay, so speaking of that stability I was just kind of tuning in on with my intuition, the Fortress can represent stability as well, at least the way I interpret it. Okay. So I think you're going to feel like a greater sense of protection here in the near future. You're going to feel a greater sense of, okay, I'm safe. So I don't know. I mean, my condolences if so, pile number 3. I don't know if recently you felt a little bit more unsafe for some particular reason. I don't know if you've been having some situation where, like, where you live has been less safe for some reason, or like it's just this general feeling of insecurity or instability. But in any case, however it resonates with you, pile 3, like that's coming to an end here because of what the Lenormand cards are indicating. Okay, so expect more stability in the near future. Let's see what your tarot spread says here. All right, spirit guides, what do you want to say to pile 3 about all this? Thank you. Right there, okay. Okay, so first up to bat today from your tarot spread, pile 3, we have the Hermit reversed. Things coming to light and coming out of their shell. Okay, so maybe you don't even have to focus that much on certain things, at least, because the Hermit reversed can mean things kind of coming out on their own volition. Like, hello, here I am. Here's this thing that was kind of hidden before, and, well, there you go. I came out of my cave, just like a hermit comes out of its cave, or their cave, I should say. It can also mean maybe a time of greater, social interactions. Sometimes if we've been, like, say if the hermit had come out upright, pile 3, it might indicate a time of, like, oh, you're going to be a little bit less social, things are going to be more quiet. The hermit reversed is, like, things coming out of their shell more. So it's going to be a bit louder, a bit more activity-oriented, perhaps a bit more social. And then we have the, what did I tell you, pile number 3? I was like, you know what? I would not be shocked if the Hangman came out with your reading, and look what just popped out. As I was saying with your hawk, the Hangman. Okay. Focus, different perspectives. Okay, that is key. We also have a lot of major arcana cards coming out so far. We'll see what the other ones are before I say how that changes the interpretation. I told you, I was like, I would not be shocked if the Hangman came out. Another major arcana, we have the Strength cards. A positive thing so far, pile number 3. So far, that stability that I was feeling seems pretty like it was dead on. We'll see. Okay. Then we have another major arcana. We have the Star, and that is also very positive. Okay, I want to tell you this, pile number 3. Well, wait, what's the last card? We have another major arcana. Okay, but we have the Lover's Reverse. So that's maybe one tiny little bump. We'll talk about that. But in general, pile 3, and I'm so happy. Every single reading today has been really positive and happy, and I'm an honest tarot reader, so I do bring up when things that might be kind of negative pop up. But on the other hand, that's why it makes me so dang happy when I have a reading like this for you that is happy and positive. I'm like, oh, I can tell them great things are coming. And I'll tell you this, pile number 3, this is a fantastic spread. Other than maybe the Lover's Reverse, just kind of a piece of advice. Perhaps. Okay. So looking at everything all together, all this is beautiful. Wonderful. Oh, I was going to say, when you have a lot of major arcana, pile number 3, if you haven't watched my videos before and had me explain it, basically what that means to me as a tarot reader is that this is a period of time of pivotal change. And I know I said before that I saw like stability, and I do still see that, and I'm getting that intuitive sense, pile 3, but at the same time, there is going to be like, this is an important part of your life, okay? This is going to be where something big is going to happen in terms of like its influence on the direction of your life. However, I will say, it's something towards stability. It's something towards safety. We saw that with the Fortress. And on top of that, it's positive because look at the spread you just got. So I want to call it, in my readings, I often call it like a tentpole moment in your life where it's kind of like if you were to put yourself as the character in a novel, pile 3, this would be like a pivotal chapter, okay? This would be like something important happens here, okay? It's not just you traveling along, fun and games, as they call it in writing circles, doing your thing. It's you literally coming across, oh, here's a plot twist, or here's the break into the next act, okay? So I see progress, I see good tidings, I see blessings, I see, especially if recently you've been feeling like life has been kind of stagnant, this is like the river opening up again after the jam of like the leaves and the mud breaks through. Okay. It's like a water river flowing moment. Like, oh, finally. Here's some progress. Here's some action. This is wonderful. Okay, so deeper dive though. Looking in your Lenormand, pile 3. You have, as I said, if I read this as one sentence, as I tend to do with these cards, a message about a gift from authority, or a message about a gift, or news of a gift, of safety or stability. Okay, there's something coming soon. I don't know from who. The particular variant of the bard that you got is the female variant, so I tend to think it's probably a woman or someone of feminine energy. That they're going to give you a gift of stability or like authority, or like I said, it's something that's going to make you feel safer. I don't know if someone is like literally going to give you a gift of like, you know, especially like maybe if you've been feeling unsafe around your house recently, like they're like, oh, here's like a security camera or like a Ring doorbell, okay, to install. Like, here's a gift. I thought you felt unsafe, so I bought this for you. Or it could be like, say at a job where you've been looking for more stability or more authority. That could mean literally a promotion when it comes to that. And it's like a feminine energy person who gives that to you as a gift. Okay, so that's positive. Wherever you might have a feminine energy and a matter regarding security, stability, or authority intersect, that's where the gift is coming from. So kind of apply that to your own life with that. But I did give a few examples, right? Now, your other cards. Fabulous. Wonderful pile number 3. Love this spread for you. We talked about the Hermit a little bit already. Greater social interaction, okay? Things are going to come to light more. Things are going to come out of their shell more, okay? That could be in you specifically. Maybe you feel more energy to socialize more, which is great. It could also mean that things come out of their shell more in terms of opportunities, like especially when we look at the metaphor or the symbolism of the hawk, right? What does a hawk look for before it strikes? Well, it looks for prey, right? But prey has to come out of its holes or its den or whatever it lives in, depending on the type, before the hawk can notice it. Okay, so you might see more opportunities like prey in the field, like a hawk does, coming forward, and that's why your spirit guides want you to be so detail-oriented and focused, because they want you to notice these things. Otherwise, that little vole or that mice, or not mice, that's plural, duh, mouse, singular lone pine, you might not notice that mouse or that vole, okay? So pay attention to things that come to light or come out of their shell. All right, and then we do have a piece of advice with the Hangman. We'll talk about that in a moment. We do have a piece of advice with the Lover's reversed. We'll talk about that in a moment as well. But focusing on the positive things, like the Hermit reversed, we have the Strength card. It's a really good time for you, pile number 3, in terms of your personal strength, okay? And that can mean literal physical, but also it can mean metaphorical in terms of like your willpower, okay? And especially to kind of a newer way I've been interpreting the Strength card is because of the depiction of it traditionally with a woman or a maiden holding on to either the jaws or like the mane of a lion, like it does in this particular depiction. It's strength in a soft feminine power way. Doesn't matter your gender. We all have feminine and masculine energies and powers, right? So it's a good time for you when you come across maybe any potential challenges, though I'm not saying many, to lean into soft power here, okay? Lean into more of your emotional strengths. Lean more into more of like gentle discussions and maybe trying to convince people of things. Like, you know, say if you come up an argument at work and you're like, well, one person wants to go this way, one person wants to go this way. Lean into that soft power to mediate, for just one example, okay? So it's a great time there. It's also a good card of blessings in this area of your strength. And we have the Star, pile 3. And the Star is one of the most beautiful cards in the deck, okay? The Star represents having hope or faith in things that will come to fruition. So I think pile 3. There's something, and it might be related to this security stability thing. That might be literally what it is. But otherwise, in general, it's a really good time for things that you've been hoping or wishing for to come to fruition. So if you've been having like a really, really big thing that you've been hoping for, and you're like, man, when's the universe going to bring this my way? I put in the sweat equity into it, blood, sweat, tears, etc. Universe, come on, do me a solid. Please help me manifest this. Pile 3, this is like a wishes granted kind of card sometimes, especially with this particular spread, especially next to the Strength card. Beautiful message here, okay? So, especially things that do require your soft power or your willpower in general, that's where you're going to see things manifest for you in positive ways, okay? How beautiful. Also, too, it can represent that maybe recently you've been going through a more difficult time, pile 3, because the Star often comes, I think it comes, correct me if I'm wrong, any other tarot readers out there watching this, I think it's right after the Tower card in tarot. And the reason why it comes after the Tower card, to my understanding, is because the Tower is usually a moment of pivotal change, and sometimes it can be something that feels really scary. It's kind of like, oh, everything's falling down, everything's falling apart. And then the Star comes out afterwards and reminds us, but even despite something falling apart or feeling like a disaster, there's hope afterwards, okay? So if you've been having a hard time recently, pile number 3, this tells me this near future is a time of things turning around, okay? And then the slight little pieces of advice you have, I won't cover the Hangman too much because your hot kind of talked about the same thing as I said in the beginning. I wouldn't be shocked if you got a Hangman card. In terms of advice in the near future, please consider other perspectives, okay? So when we talked about that focus and looking at things in different ways message with your hawk, that's the clarity from your spirit guide saying we specifically want you to look at things in different ways. Okay, so be willing to look at things completely upside down if you have to when you come across challenges in the near future. And then the Lovers can reverse represent maybe a little bit of challenges coming up regarding relationships, or sometimes traditionally it can mean maybe having a hard time making a choice. It's kind of like a Two of Swords that way sometimes, right? Especially next to the Star. I almost wonder, pile 3, I'm feeling intuitively for some of you, the good things coming regarding like the Strength and the Star card that we just discussed might cause, I don't see like a big argument, but maybe like a tiny little squabble with your loved ones because of the Lovers reversed. I don't see it as a massive thing coming. And I think that's why the Hangman has been so prominent and like the hot card, is because I think when you navigate that potential little squabble, with the idea of, okay, I'll see it from your perspective. Oh, I understand where you're coming from. And then the soft power of, well, let's mediate here. Let's compromise. That Lovers reversed won't mean nothing. You'll be like, oh, okay, that's fine. That's great. So just be aware of compromise in relationships in the near future and seeing things from other people's point of view. And that will help you through any challenges, the very, very few I'm seeing here. Okay. Now, last but not least, let's look at your final Oracle cards. We have the Lantern Oracle. Spirit guides, anything else you want to say to pile 3 about this near future of theirs? Positive things coming. Oh boy, we got 2. Okay, what 2 do we just get flying out? Oh, we have 3. I lied. Okay, well, oh boy, we have inner life. Your inner life is a garden to be cultivated. Okay, so pile 3. This is also a very good time for you to do inner spiritual work. Okay, meditation will be especially fruitful in the near future, so that's message number 1. Emotional energy. Emotions are messengers to be met with appropriate attention, action, and gratitude. Okay. Pay attention, and this is part of the focus message with your hawk. Not just details outside of you, but within. Pay attention to your emotions in the near future. Use them as guideposts, and that will help you through any of the slight little tiny bumps I'm seeing. Okay, especially with maybe the Lovers reversed message, right? And then last but not least, we have distorted perceptions. Reality is rarely what we are raised to believe it is. Okay, we have another message, and I'm sorry it's repetitive, but lots of synchronicity today, pile 3, about focus and the way you see things. And the Hangman, looking at things from different perspectives. When anything comes up in the near future, excuse me, ooh, my voice is a bit scratchy. When anything comes up in the near future, regarding whether or not you think you're seeing things clearly, that's when you need to look at things from different perspectives. You might have a slightly distorted perception regarding something. Okay. So always, well, follow your intuition. I always say that on this channel, pile 3. But in the near future, at least, always challenge in a positive way your initial perception of something, because this is a really good time to explore the action of thinking about, well, am I really seeing this clearly? If there's anything you walk away from this reading from in the near future, or walk away from this reading from with in the near future, there we go. I can't talk today, apparently. It's that you always question what you see. Things are not always what they seem to be. Look closer. Okay, really emphasized. We won't talk about that too much. And then last but not least, we have the Power of Surrender cards. What should they surrender to, spirit guides? What should they surrender to, or what's your advice on this area of their life for the next chapter? What's coming next? Thank you. Oh, I've loved recording these readings today, pile 3. Every pile has had pretty positive messages. That makes me a happy camper as a tarot reader. Okay, we have surrender the idea that you can fix someone. Ooh, it is time for a relationship to shift. If it doesn't work to try to fix, it doesn't work to try to fix someone. Each person must be accountable for his or her own healing. Okay, so that might be part of the Lovers reversed message we talked about earlier. That gives it a little bit more context here. We did talk about using your soft power in like mediation and seeing things from their viewpoint, pile 3. But with your loved ones here in the near future, also, if someone is really set on doing something and you think it's just the worst dog crap idea ever, okay? And you're like, man, I need to fix this. I need to help them. I need to save themselves or help them save themselves. This is advice from your spirit guides. Sometimes the best teachers in life, pile 3, are letting people go to make mistakes. Sometimes the best way to teach them is to let them have their way. Okay, so that's a little bit more specific about like what the Lovers Reversed was about. Okay, yes, mediate, see their perspective, but also if you feel any inclinations towards trying to fix them or correct them, it might be a moment to let them have their way. Of course, as long as it doesn't negatively affect you in a major way, right? Okay, take care of yourself first. But that being considered, let go of the reins and let them try it. And if it blows up in their face, then they'll learn their lesson and you can have a really satisfying I told you so moment. I mean, not that you want to rub it in their face, of course. You know, we don't like to do that always. But at the same time, it's like, just, yeah. If you feel an inclination towards trying to fix someone or their path or their choices in the near future, especially with loved ones, especially with romantic partners potentially, or with the choices that they're making, let go. Okay? Let them be accountable for it. Let them make that choice. Sometimes that is a feminine soft power is, well, I'm not going to force you, so I'm just going to let you do it. And then when you shoot yourself in the foot, that's your mistake to make. Don't come crying to me, right? Of course, you know, you love them, right? If they're your loved ones, but at the same time, sometimes you got to let them make their own choices, and sometimes you got to let it blow up in their face, and then they're like, oh, pile 3, you were right. It's like, yes, I was, but okay. Give me my crown now. No, anyways, okay. But that was your reading for today, pile number 3. I hope, of course, most of all, that you liked it and that it resonated and it helped you for your near future, right? If so, please like the video, comment down below, and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. No shame to anybody, but I do see my statistics, my analytics, and I know about 50% of you who watch do not subscribe. No shame, but if you could just click that button, that would be awesome, and thank you so much if you do. And as is our tradition on the channel, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 3.